So we got Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Danjarin, Black Crescenton, and Max Rebo. The Gathering Storm. He's like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. He's actually really good at like shooting people. Anyway, it'd be great. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe you can combine some kind of like a keytar, you know, with some sort of laser jet, like.
What was it?
Boom.
Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here talking about the Book of Boba Fett. Season 1, Episode 4, The Gathering Storm. We open with Boba back in the Bacta tank, remembering what he did after discovering the Tuskens all massacred. He and his Bantha stake out Bib Fortuna's palace because Bib still has his ship. I mean, years later? It's like, wow, okay. They've apparently had his ship in storage. Maybe we'll assume they've used it over that time, I guess. I don't know. Boba realizes that he and his Bantha can't pull off this assault. They just need one more person, apparently, is what they need. So that's how we open. We end in present day in the timeline of the show. Fennec suggests that their money can buy some muscle if they know where to look, and we hear the Mandalorian flute. Get ready for Danjarin. All right. So, Paul.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Grogu.
Get ready for Grogu. So, Paul, what did you think of Episode 4?
I'm going to throw you off base by asking. Like, we got a lot from Mr. Fett about, you know, who said many times what his motivation was. Was that satisfying to you, Mr. Rice?
It was not satisfying to me.
Oh, no.
Now, I'll say this. At least he did verbalize what his motivation is. So, in that way, good. I'm glad they didn't just leave it. But what I got out of his motivation is he's tired of working for idiots, I think is what he says. And
he thinks he says that many times.
He thinks he can make better decisions.
Yes.
So he wants to run a giant criminal network. I'm like, it seems like a big jump between like, man, these guys are stupid. Hey, let me run this giant network. Oh, I mean, like, for instance, why not be an independent contractor like Fennec? You know, he mentions, hey, you come work for me, and she says, well, I like my independence, so sure, I'll do contract work for you, but I value my independence. He then says, like, I can give you loyalty, blah, 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 blah. But the point being, there seem to be steps
as an independent contractor, you're depending on people to pay you to do what you're going to do.
You could turn down the money, though, right? I mean,
right, exactly. So, yeah, and as long as you can afford to turn things down, then, yeah, you're in a great position.
I feel like you're still going to have to make decisions as a crime lord, too. Theoretically, you don't have somebody over you telling you, but you have somebody next to you saying, hey, I really need this from you, and then you have to decide, is it worth the money for me to bump these people off to help out these guys? I don't know. I feel like you're still in a world where you still have to make choices based on cash to do something immoral.
Well, I mean, whether you're making your own choices or your choices are based on what situation somebody's putting you in.
It's fine. I think it works. It just feels a little like I'd like to have seen some kind of intermediate phase where he decides, I'm not working for idiots. I'm going to strike out on my own or something, and then realize, oh, I guess I can't do that. And you know what I should do? I'll just jump to the top and like own everything.
I mean, because it already established that he'd worked for Jabba before, and so this whole thing about do I like working for Jabba or just being that. So he worked for Jabba. Now he's Jabba. To me, you know, that's what he was doing before. So
he does mention in this, and I was a little confused. He says something like, I forgot the exact verbiage, but like, hey, Bib Fortuna betrayed me. He double-crossed me or something like that. And so that left me with like, oh, well, that's news to me. Like, how? Because if you're just saying that Bib Fortuna had his ship, well, yeah, because everyone in the universe thought he was dead. I mean, like, it's not like, I've requisitioned your ship from your corpse. Like, okay. I'm like, is there something else we're not being told that Bib Fortuna did to him that made him go and have to shoot and kill Bib Fortuna? That's confusing to me.
Okay.
If he's just mad at him about the ship, that seems a little petty. I mean, like, You know, tell him you're alive. Maybe ask. You know, it's come tell him you have the ship. I think there was a line like that where Fennec's like, "Did you just ask him for the ship?" He's like, "Well, he wouldn't have given me a good response," or something like that. Maybe there is a background thing that we're not being told as to why he decided I will go kill Bib and all of his followers. And
I see, yeah. So we'll see if we get that, you know, and if I had put money on it, I'll say we probably won't get that.
Okay.
You know,
I think they're just moving on.
We've probably gotten as much here, yeah.
I think we're done with the flashbacks too, right? The droid says,
yeah,
you're
they
fully
took us all
healed.
the way up to basically, yes, you're fully, because that's really what it's for. It's like, you know, like, I wish someone watching would know what happened to me, and someone says, well, if you get in this bacta tank, then you'll have flashbacks. And then anybody watching this, if we were in a show, would know what had happened to you.
Obviously, my far-fetched theory from last week on he's dying. Obviously, not true. I thought for a moment there it might be when Fennec's like, oh, you know, that stomach acid from the Sarlacc, that's very hazardous to your health.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's like, you need a bacta tank, which you'll be getting very soon. I go, okay, all right. So yes, he's been healed up.
I mean, you know, for that plot device, you know, it doesn't. I mean, are we never going to get more dreams from him? You know, will he only dream in the bacta tank?
Right.
He could have had dreams of his past, you know, just sleeping on a bed. But no, it had to be like, wow, look, all these episodes where he's in a bacta tank. I guess that's just what he does. Like, no, you're done now. You're done. No more bacta tank. So maybe Tamara Morrison was just sort of like, you know what? I'm done with this tank. Can we, like, okay, oh, you're healed. This episode, you are healed.
You are healed. Yeah, so you feel like because, yes, the flashbacks actually linked us up with the events of The Mandalorian when he finds Fennec in the desert and then saves her life, gets her mods to keep her alive. This is probably the end of the flashbacks, if I had to guess. But you know what I would like?
You would like another flashback that explains what happens between him and the other guy. That's what you said.
I would like a bit
more flashbacks. You want every single step accounted for.
More than that, I'll say more than that flashback. You could mention that in a line perhaps, but more a flashback back to his childhood, maybe another glimpse back at young Boba on Kamino and what that meant to him and how that. Anyway, that would be. I'd like that, but I don't know that we're going to get it.
I don't think so either.
I think we're the gathering storm. Now we hit the storm. All right, boom. One of the things I did like during the heist, you want to call it, when they go and steal the ship back, is the little rat catcher droid. I like the rat catcher droid. I particularly liked.
His little switch.
Well, I like the switch where he's like, I'll just power down. But also, no, the when he thinks he's escaping, he's like, he goes underneath the thing and he's running away and he thinks he's gotten away. You hear him go like, like he is taking pleasure in the fact that he's outwitted Boba Fett. I like it. I like it. I'm on board. You get him right.
The thing that occurs to me when I was much younger and for some reason I would watch shows about people who get beat up. And I would think, oh, I would hate that to happen to me. You know, I would think sometimes, like, oh, well, look at them, like, trying to knock this guy down. If he just fell, you know, then they would, oh, okay, well, it's done. He's on the ground. You know, he's out cold.
It's like a bear, right? You pretend you're dead.
Yeah. But, you know, some people don't stop when you're on the ground. They're like,
bears, in fact.
To beat you, yes.
A bear might be like, oh, great, my lunch is ready. Whatever.
Yeah. So, you know, that droid there shutting himself off, like, okay, yeah, they're not going to harm me when I'm off. You know, like.
I think maybe we see him later during the mob meeting. I think maybe he stayed in the palace and now he's working for Boba. We also get Black Crescenton, the gladiator, rips someone's arm off the way that Wookiees do. We
finally see that scene there that we've seen in the trailers there with him and all the different mob heads. Right.
We also, very notably, Paul, very important, Max Rebo is back.
Okay.
And he even gets name dropped. They're like, Max,
yes.
Keep playing the song. So what I'm looking for is...
an album?
an album. That'd be great. No, Max Rebo joins Boba's strike team. They're like, we need to buy some muscle. So we got Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Danjarin, Black Crescentin, and Max Rebo. The Gathering Storm. He's like, do. He's actually really good at like shooting people. Anyway, it'd be great. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe you can combine some kind of like a keytar, with some sort of laser jet, like.
What was it? Mad Max Fury Road with the. Yes, that's what we're looking for. Episode 6. Max Rebo goes crazy on people. All right.
With his keytar sword.
With his keytar sword. Or he's got the piano keys on the arm that he plays. And it's like Jennifer Beals. She's obviously running the casino. She's the one that calls out for Max.
Yeah, I would. It's certainly nice of her. Like, let's say we didn't get any more Jennifer Beals in this season. Certainly nice of her to do these little bits and endure all that makeup. I just wonder if that's if we're really going to see a lot of her in the next couple of episodes or not.
Because it was interesting. She gave a pretty long monologue to Black Crescentin to be like, look, we're civilized.
Yes,
there's no need to rip someone's arm off. And then he just rips someone's arm off anyway. And she's like,
yeah.
Okay.
So maybe she was like, okay, I'm good. I was in Star Wars and I was able to talk to Black Chrysanthemum.
So she's from Chicago, and I just wanted to point out.
Yes, that's true. She is.
There is another Chicagoan, the Major Domo, the messenger guy for the mayor. He's actually Dave from TJ and Dave. TJ and Dave is an improv comedy institution kind of here in Chicago. They perform pretty regularly at I.O. Improv Olympic until the pandemic shut the theater down. But Dave Pasquazi, I believe is his name. Anyway, just if you were trying to find an experienced comedic improviser, he's maybe he's one of the most experienced improvisers on the planet. So there you go. Dave from TJ and Dave. Hence the comedic nature of his performance. After they get the ship, Boba goes and gets revenge on the biker gang. It's a fun scene to watch from the air. It's like really unfair.
Yes.
Like,
too bad they don't have Wagner there. Otherwise,
right.
He could have had Fennec Shand put that on,
Yeah. But Fennec does mention something that I had theorized in the last recap. She's like, that biker gang killing off Tuskens, that doesn't sound likely. So I do feel like the Pikes are still behind the actual destruction of the Tuskens there. But so after they kill the biker gang, they go back to the Sarlacc, end up killing it with one of those sonic bombs, which I love the sound, the familiar sound effect. But why did he go back there looking for the armor? Right, like he escaped from the Sarlacc in his armor back in the day.
Yeah, well, you could.
Maybe
I
he
guess
doesn't remember.
What they're telling us is that he doesn't. Yeah, he wasn't really that conscious during the thing. He certainly didn't have enough to. It's not. Yeah, or they just wanted that.
I think they just wanted
let's be dumb of the sucking this ship in. So it could they just wanted that scene of him doing that.
They definitely wanted that scene. I just feel like, we'll just say he was delirious and didn't remember that he had actually escaped in his armor and whatnot. I appreciate the fact that the show didn't have to go back to all of the points that we saw him in The Mandalorian. They just kind of did the one thing where he meets up with Fennec. They're not like, okay, and he got the armor back and fine. Okay.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that.
And apparently that was quite a bit of time between when he escaped the Sarlacc pit and saw Fennec Shand. So he was with the Tusken Raiders for quite a while.
I think we're saying 5 years. I think that's what we're saying. So it was a while, which is also why it's like that ship was still there. It was still in the hangar. Thank God it was gassed up.
It just makes it interesting to me that he established this relationship with the Tusken Raiders. They're killed. And now that he's in trouble, he's like, boy, I wonder, he needs Fennec Shand to be like, okay, I think I know some Mandalorians that'll help you out. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if there'll be some other Tuskens as a result of that. I mean, he seemed to suggest that he was going to build, more of a consortium or something.
He said that, his time with the Tuskens taught him the importance of having a tribe. Right. Just not that one. I guess, I don't know. But you're right. Like, it would be, I think, a bit underwhelming for the story if the Tuskens didn't enter into this at all from now on. If episodes 5 and 6 are Tusken free, it would be weird. Like, what? Okay. You spent a long time with him learning all these lessons with the Tuskens. And then if you didn't come back to them in some way, if he didn't return to them or give them some piece of land or something.
They have, a couple of episodes to make the inclusion of, this other show mean something. So we'll see. But it's weird. Part of me, and I want to fight it because it's against my philosophy. Part of me kind of feels like it's kind of a gimmick, like to bring in the Mandalorian. But I like a full world, so the fact that we get to see them. I mean, if it ends up being we see more of the group that because I'd forgotten at the end of the Mandalorian with his helmet off that basically he sort of renounced his previous group, and the other Mandalorians are like, yeah, we don't do that shit.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
So we could get a sense of that other community if it enters here, as opposed to all the real stick in the ass guys.
Well, the other very important plot point that came at the end of Mandalorian Season 2 is that Danjarin has the dark saber.
Yes.
Which, whether he wants it or not, gives him a claim to rulership of Mandalore. And we don't know how that was, we'll get a glimpse if he shows up, which I think he will. I think episode 5 he shows up. Does he still have it? Does that mean anything? Are people following him because he has it?
Right.
Anyway.
And then the result of that, what people were imagining is his fight.
Right. But I don't think they'll do that here. I think they would do that in the Mandalorian show, if I had to guess.
Right. So you're gonna get scenes where she's sort of like, yeah, this guy's in charge, or I'm in charge, or whatever.
Yeah, if she's involved in Boba, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's sort of like, let me do this. Like, okay, we'll fight when you get back.
Right. As we've seen, though, a small group of Mandalorians is essentially an army. I mean, it's just like,
yes, that's true. Yeah,
I got 5 guys. All right, we got it. We're fine.
Yeah. Maybe she lets him go, thinking maybe we'll get killed doing this.
Yeah, maybe I'll get killed. He has the big meeting with the gang members. It felt a little inauspicious, and that it was like, look, I need your help to take out the Pikes, and they're like,
right,
nope. He's like, okay. Then just be neutral? All right. Hey! I need your help. No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, him and Fennec had the conversation afterwards. Do you think they will be neutral? Because
right. Did they just say what they needed you to walk out of here?
Can you trust them? It's like if you seem to be losing, they probably won't be very neutral.
So I don't know that accomplished a lot other than Boba, right. He identified that he's against the Pikes, and so they're
I wonder if what they're building towards is a bunch of Mandalorians come along, and something in their fight against the Pike, they discover some other weapon or some other, they gain more forces that can stay on there that make them like, okay, shit, maybe we should have said something now, because now after this thing with the Pike, potentially he could be even more powerful. Boba Fett, and then all those families will be like, you're gonna give me a little tribute now, aren't you? So he can get the benefit of beating back the Pike because he ends up becoming even more powerful, is what I'm guessing.
Okay. I feel like also, you've still got the Hutts out there. I could imagine them swooping into a vacuum if there was one, if there's like some kind of standoff and then the Hutts show up. I don't know, maybe. To reclaim their.
If I was making the show, I mean, as interesting as it was having 2 Hutts there, I wouldn't want to have them around too much. They're very dynamic villains. It's just like, who have they hired now to run ahead and fight for them? Because they're not going to do anything except, smoke on a hookah and, put people on chains. Yeah. They're best as guest stars that coming out and not as perpetual villains is my feeling.
Obviously, we're going to see him on a Rancor. The Rancor he was on his Bantha this time. I think he name dropped his Bantha, and I couldn't catch the name, but I want him to name his Rancor. That's my hope. Little Jerry or whatever the Rancor's name's going to be. I also did like the fact that, like,
Morty.
Again, they're kinder, gentler, but he keeps it in a caged pit, and then like he has it like attack on command, basically. Look, I'm in this moment. Why should we follow you? All right, do the thing. I can't control him. Look out.
Yeah. Sorry. He doesn't like when people question my authority.
Right. So just sure. All right. Who knows? This whole table might drop. So yes, I think he'll be riding the Rancor in some battle mode coming up.
You saying he's Chekhov's Rancor?
It's Chekhov's Rancor.
One thing I thought was interesting that I didn't appreciate until I saw some other people talking about it is the exploration of the sort of mod community. So once he took her to that mod surgeon, took Fennec Shand there, we got a little taste of it with the biker, with his personal biker gang, personal moped group. With the guy with the eye, gang. Like, I like this eye, so a little exploration of that is interesting. Some people I think some people not clear on how that sort of meshes with the rest of the Star Wars culture, but it's just been there. It's just in different ways.
Yeah, it was also interesting that that was his choice for like life support. It was like, I can either take her to a doctor to get her fixed, or better idea, replace her with mechanical parts. That sounds harder, but okay. I also did like the bit where it's like, aren't you going to cover it up? He's like, what? The handiwork? Why would you cover that up? Which is cool because you see all these people with very noticeable mods, and so they're proud of it. I like that.
And she's modest, which spares the FX guys a lot of headaches.
Right. But it's also somewhat like a tattoo, right, in a way. Like, I felt like it was almost like a tattoo parlor.
And it's really funny to me, the thing that I didn't think of when we saw something similar in The Empire Strikes Back with Luke's arm with the little panel that showed you all the is like for back then, that did look sort of high tech. Now it's like, really? That works?
For me, I was thinking, surely you want to cover up those gears because you're in a desert and you don't want to get like sand in the machinery. But it's
times that she goes into water or whatever. It's like, these are little magical things. It can just take anything.
They can take anything.
And also too, like that little panel of skin, is an interesting little invention. It's like you got these little, steel rods underneath or in your belly or whatever. But, if you put a little veil of skin on it, it just looks like a regular human. That's all. Those are really good. And
very.
Some shitty ass, little rods and steel things in there.
Right. The high tech is actually the fake skin, not the gears.
Yeah.
I feel like it's safe to say we're getting Danjarin and maybe some other members of the cast from Mandalorian.
Yeah. Probably one of those other Mandalorians that fought, that he joined. So,
what if you were throwing out, like a pie in the sky type of a surprise twist a la Luke showing up at the end of Mandalorian Season 2? Is there some highly unlikely but potentially interesting?
Besides Ben, for instance, I'm wondering if he's even on the planet right now.
So he would be roughly 5 years old, right? He'd be a kid. If you're talking about Ben Solo? Oh, you're talking about, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes. I guess he's dead now. Yeah. My timeline is funky.
Yeah, I know. But Ben Solo might show up. There's been talk that Harrison Ford, Han Solo might show up.
Right.
He could have little kid Ben with him, I guess. Ben!
Sure, every series finds a way to bring back these guys digitally.
Right. I mean, I feel like if you brought back Luke in this show, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, we saw him. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I wouldn't be like, what?
Right.
It's Luke again!
Yeah.
I do feel like there's probably a surprise coming. I've also heard that there's maybe some tie-ins to perhaps the Solo movie where you've got Kira, that character, because there's a lot of crime syndicate stuff there. I don't know. I feel like the Pikes are kind of your main enemy, but yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll see how they finish this off, and we'll also be back talking about Peacemaker. So come on back for that. Looking forward to it. Thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
Sure.
And we'll see everybody next time. Bye.
Bye.